Hello and welcome to the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster. This is the Crypto Hipster, Jamil Hassan, and this is the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you crypto news, insights, and analysis from around the world each and every Friday. And this is episode 51, season 3, episode 11 for the week ending August 4. 2023, we're 1 week away from the annual, from episode 52 next week. But this week is episode 51, and I claim each and every week to bring you news from around the world. And today is probably the most decentralized news sources, and it is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing show. And I will kick things off with the first article. And we're going to talk about something called DebtBox. The SEC has frozen the assets of DebtBox. Yes. Alleging a $50 million node license sham. And what is that all about? And that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. And blockchain mining software DebtBox has been accused of lying to investors about its involvement in crypto mining and node licenses. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has obtained a temporary asset freeze against Utah-based company Digital Licensing Inc., accusing the firm of perpetrating a $50 million fraudulent crypto scheme. The SEC announced it had obtained a temporary asset freeze, restraining order, and other emergency relief against Digital Licensing Inc., which was operating as a debt box. The firm's 4 principals, Jason Anderson, his brother Jacob Anderson, Shad Brannon, and Royden Nelson, and 13 other defendants were included in the enforcement action. What does it say? The SEC has said the firm was selling unregistered securities since March 2021, which are called node licenses. Utilizing DebtBox's proprietary software, you can create a portfolio of blockchain miners. By purchasing and managing different software node licenses, you can earn rewards from several asset classes, all from the comfort and convenience of your own home. That's what DebtBox claimed to do. What the SEC is saying is that, these aren't registered securities. These are things called, let's see the listing here, debt mining now, BGLD mining now, GROW mining now, NatG mining now, DLG, XPLR, Alum, Blocks, Bev, Drip, DCM, and Rev mining now. They promised a number of projects that appear to be linked to various industries, including real estate, commodities, agriculture, and technology. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't. It was a native token called DET, and it was like a Ponzi, but that's what they're saying. But that's not the big hoop-de-doo. The big hoop-de-doo is the other lawsuit this week of fraud that the SEC claims, and that is a big deal, a much big deal, because the name of the project is called Hex. Hex is a big deal. SEC has filed a complaint against Hex founder Richard Hart Wynn for allegedly offering unregistered securities. So, according to the SEC, Richard Hart Wynn allegedly used more than $12 million of investor funds to buy a 555-carat diamond, expensive watches, high-end automobiles, and if you've seen some of the clothes this man wore, then he was decorated in Prada and other designer expensive brands. The U.S. SEC has filed a lawsuit against Richard Schuler, His real last name is Schuler, but he's better known as Richard Hartwin, for allegedly unregistered offerings of 3 tokens in a filing this past Monday. In the district court for the Eastern District of New York, the SEC claimed Hart had raised more than $1 billion through the unregistered offer and sale of crypto asset securities, including Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. According to the complaint, Hart touted the tokens as a pathway to grandiose wealth for investors, hiring developers to maintain the framework behind the crypto assets. Now, if you're new to crypto and not too familiar, how this worked was very complex. I'm not going to get into how this all worked, but I will say this: the SEC alleges that Hart violated federal securities laws and defrauded investors both in the U.S. and abroad. Many of the allegations focused on the Hex founder promising large returns for investors in exchange for hundreds of millions of dollars in deposits. And if you looked at the price of the Hex tokens and you look how much the value was on Etherscan, you go Hex on Etherscan, you'll see the top 1,000 wallets. You'll see how much Hex. And this times, the 1,000th wallet was like $10 million. Now it's much less. And Uniswap and some other platforms have delisted it and not allowed trading it anymore. Hart and Pulse Chain, they say, and the SEC says, defrauded investors by misappropriating at least 12.1 million of Pulse Chain investor funds, the complaint reads. Instead of using these investor funds to develop and market the Pulse Chain network, or even Phil Hart's explicit statement that invested funds supported freedom of speech, Hart and Pulse Chain used at least 12.1 million of investor funds for Hart's personal luxury purchases. Yeah, he did make some pretty exorbitant purchases. Now, Eric Warner, of the director of Fort Worth Regional Office at the SEC, says Hart called on investors to buy crypto asset securities and offerings that he failed to register. He then defrauded those investors by spending some of their crypto assets on exorbitant luxury goods. This action seeks to protect the investing public and hold Hart accountable for his actions. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because what I think, and this is just my opinion, and let me know your thoughts, please. Let me know your thoughts about these 2 scams, Ponzi's, whatever you want to call them, Debtbox and Hex, is that the SEC, after losing to XRP case, and after losing, and they're going to lose to Coinbase and some others, they've been on a losing streak. They need to break out of their slump. So they've picked on something which they thought they could win. But they picked Hartwin. And Hartwin, if you look at the technology and what he actually did, it wasn't really a Ponzi, But what was it? He spent some money. Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. Keep a tab and keep an eye on that. And let me know your thoughts, how it's going to play out. So now, Ether, talking about Ethereum. Ethereum ETFs are pending. Grayscale, Van Eck, and others have filed SEC applications for an Ethereum ETF. These companies last week filed for a Bitcoin ETF, and now they're asking for an Ethereum ETF. 6 major asset managers, including Grayscale and Van Eck, have fresh filed applications in a bid to launch Ether futures, exchange traded funds to the U.S. customers. Separate filings submitted to the SEC, reviewed by Cointelegraph. I sent the Cointelegraph to let them review it for some reason. Outline respective applications from the likes of Grayscale, Van Eck, Bitwise, Volatility Shares, ProShares, and Round Hill Capital. James Seifert at the SEC, right, says we officially have 5 different Ethereum. No, who's he from? I don't know. Somewhere, Twitter. We officially have 5 different Ethereum futures ETF filings submitted to the SEC. Would love to know what has changed since May, other than the fact that Volatility Shares applied Friday. ProShares went straight for the inverse short ETF. So that's the filings. And why? Grayscale's filing includes 2 applications: a global Bitcoin composite ETF and a Grayscale Ethereum futures ETF. Their If the Ether ETF will invest in futures contracts that are set to be traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Well, why didn't you apply that? Why didn't you file that to the CFTC? Let's see. The SEC filed notice that Grayscale's fund will primarily invest in front month Ether futures, which are contracts with the shortest time to maturity. Grayscale added that it intends to roll Ether futures contracts before they expire. It'd be interesting to see how this works out. Are we going to have Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in the U.S.? And that's all I have for the U.S. It might sound shocking to some people that, hey, I'm not going to bash and trash the Gary Gensler this week. He's had enough bashing and trashing. He's been on quite a losing streak. So, we don't need to do that today. Let's go to Europe. Let's go across the pond, across the ocean, and walk into Germany. The German government watchdog launched a WorldCoin probe in November 2022. Authorities in the UK and France also have reportedly cited concerns over WorldCoin's data collection methods, which involve collecting iris scans from users. So this past week, on Monday, was it last week? I don't know. My days get combined now, and they roll into one. So every day is one day. But today's Friday, and the Bavarian State of Data Protection Supervision, or BEI LDA, reportedly began an investigation into human identity verification project WorldCoin, based on concerns over biometric data. According to a July 31st Reuters report, the German data watchdog launched a probe into WorldCoin's activities this past November. WorldCoin, a project started by the intention of distinguishing real people from bots by providing retinal scans for identity verification, had more than 2 million people signups prior to the launch of its token in July. So July, they launched the token, and before that, they scanned people's retinas and promised them $50. So for $50, people signed away their rights to have WorldCoin have their identity. This retinal scan data reportedly drew the attention of BEI LDA. President Michael Will reported that technologies were neither established nor well analyzed. True. For the use in transferring financial information. True. Leading to a potential risk for WorldCoin users. True. Okay. Authenticating ownership by biometrics and handing over your iris to a company for $50 in return for WorldCoin currency. I don't know. Especially based on who the investors are in this thing. In addition to reported inquiries from the BEI LDA, the French National Commission on Informatics and Liberty has reportedly called WorldCoin's data collection methods questionable. I'm glad you used that word questionable. I would say a different word, but they said it. The Information Commissioner's Office in the UK has cited similar concerns. Tools for Humanity, the company behind WorldCoin, has a subsidiary in Germany, but the project has been attracting interest from users in many countries. Since launching the token in July, WorldCoin founder Sam Altman, with investors of 3AC and Sam Bankman-Fried, known criminals, perhaps, reported a new person was getting verified every 8 seconds through its iris scans around the world. Major players, including Vitalik Buterin and Block CEO Jack Dorsey, have already weighed in on the project, as many crypto users have pointed to potential benefits, including repaying those affected by the collapses of 3 Arrows Capital and FTX. So, yep, and they're the investors. Yep, circular. Let me know your thoughts. Hey, let's go to Ukraine. Okay. Ukrainian government reports $81 million tax loss from unregulated crypto exchanges since 2013. According to data provided by the Ukrainian government, cryptocurrency exchanges offering services in the country have failed to contribute more than 81 million to the national budget in the last decade. In August 2nd, which is Wednesday notice, the Economic Security Bureau of Ukraine reported unrelated crypto exchanges were responsible for at least $3 billion Nia in lost taxes, roughly $81 million over the decade in 2013 to 2023. The government body said it had analyzed the trading activity of exchanges created by residents of Ukraine, which had roughly $55 billion in Bitcoin volume over the same period. According to Andriy Pashchuk, deputy director of the Economic Security Bureau, there are different points of view on how these transactions should be taxed, and the Bureau will act in accordance with the provisions adopted by the deputies. But it is obvious that while the issues drag on, the state continues to lose tens of millions in taxes every month. So they want to tax the Ukraine in crypto trades. President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a piece of legislation on virtual assets into law in March 2022, establishing a regulatory framework for crypto in the country. And at the time, the government said it was working on amending Ukraine's tax and civil codes to accommodate the legal framework, but no amendments to existing requirements have been implemented as of this current month. All right, that's that. Let me know your thoughts on how that's going or how that should go. Even though they weren't handed, even though they didn't have $55 million, they did receive billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars from the U.S. government and the Pentagon, which seems to now be unauditable. But, that's just pointing out something that we don't need to point out. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Russia. The Bank of Russia reveals digital rubles logo and commission fees. From 2025, business transactions will cost 16 cents each, which is about the amount of money I have in my Wells Fargo account today. So I can do a transaction. While individual customers will pay 0.3% of the total transaction sum when transferring to commercial accounts. Russia's central bank digital currency, CBDC project developed by the Bank of Russia, has revealed its official logo. The central bank has also published commission fee rates, which will exceed 0 points by only 2025. On August 3, the BOR revealed the corporate identity of its digital currency, the digital ruble. An international ruble symbol in a circle. The logo comes in 4 basic color combinations, red and white or black and white. That is cute. Along with the logo, the BOR presented the commission fees for different operations with the CBDC. Until the end of 2024, all services will be free. But starting in 2025, business-to-business transactions will cost 15 rubles, which is 16 cents each, while individuals will pay 0.3% of the total transaction sum while transferring to commercial accounts and 0.2% when paying for civil services. Congratulations to Russia on the digital ruble. How's that going to go? Let me know your thoughts. Let's get out of there and go to Asia. Okay. I guess today's show is global. Did a little bit of US, a little bit of Europe. We're going to do some Asia stuff now. Okay. And let's go Japan Blockchain Association. So Japan advocates of the crypto industry in Japan are demanding, and the Blockchain Association does this, demands tax cuts. While the U.S. is clamoring for tax increases, and when Senator Warren and Senator Warren and Bernie want more taxes on the people in the United States of America, Japan wants tax cuts. That's smart. Advocates of the crypto industry in Japan are demanding a revision of the national tax regime for digital assets. The Japan Blockchain Association, JBA, a non-governmental lobbying group, filed an official request to the country's government highlighting 3 major steps to ease the fiscal burden on crypto holders. This request was published on the association's website this past week, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, whatever day it was. It calls for transaction of crypto assets, the biggest barrier for Web3 businesses in Japan, and a factor that prevents citizens from actively owning and using crypto assets. Japan wants the people to use crypto, and that should be the case here. Did you hear that, Mr. Gensler? Did you hear that, President Biden? Japan wants citizens to use crypto. That's important for the future. Thus, the trust, the Japan Blockchain Association group names three major changes that could be made to ease the pressure on the digital economy. The first one is the elimination of the year-end unrealized gains tax on corporations holding crypto assets. Unrealized profit is profits that have occurred on paper, but the relevant transactions have not been completed. The second request deals with the taxation method for personal crypto asset trading profits. It suggests changing this method from current comprehensive taxation to self-assessment separate taxation with a uniform rate of 20%, and proposes a 3-year term for deducting losses from the digital assets value and depreciation. And third, the JBA seeks the elimination of income tax on the profits generated each time an individual exchanges crypto assets. That makes sense. It's property. You're just transferring property within your portfolio to yourself, and that should not be subject to tax. So that is Japan. Let me know your thoughts on how Japan wants to decrease taxes. It's important. We wanted to decrease taxes here in the United States when it first formed, and we fought the British and we won because they were taxing too high. People don't like taxes. Hong Kong. Let's go to Hong Kong. Hong Kong debuts retail crypto trading with hashtag NOSL. Hong Kong is expanding cryptocurrency trading exposure to individual investors. They want individual investors to have crypto, with at least one exchange getting the regulatory green light to offer services. Local digital asset firm Hashkey has successfully obtained all necessary licensing to expand its business from serving professional investors to taking on retail users, the firm announced yesterday. Hashkey's new regulatory milestone has been enabled by upgrading 2 major licenses issued by Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission. The first license, Type 1, allows Hashkey to operate a virtual asset trading platform under Hong Kong security laws. The second one, Type 7, so let's say they jump from Type 1 to Type 7, don't know why, but offer officially enables the firm to provide automated trading services to both institutional and retail users. In addition to becoming one of the first licensed exchanges to offer retail crypto trading in Hong Kong, Hashkey has also officially launched its crypto over-the-counter trading service, Hashkey Brokerage. The OTC platform is said to comply with local securities laws following the adoption of new local crypto regulatory frameworks by the SFC. Now, what do you think about Hong Kong's friendliness to crypto? Would you like to see that the rest of the world? I know I definitely would. I'm for one would. Okay, let's talk about China. We talked about Hong Kong, now we're going to China. Mixed signals. Binance denies reports of $90 billion in crypto trades in China. Binance has refuted claims published in the Wall Street Journal that the exchange has conducted billions of dollars in crypto-related businesses in China, despite the country's crypto ban. Binance has reportedly continued operations in China, despite the country's ban on crypto. And the Wall Street Journal says its reporters, along with current and former employees of Binance, viewed internal figures that revealed users traded $90 billion in cryptocurrency-related assets in China during a 1-month period. However, these claims surfaced, the exchange has denied conducting any business in China. In a statement given, a Binance representative said, the Binance.com website is blocked in China and is not accessible to China-based users. So how can you trade that, right? How can you trade that, Wall Street Journal? Let's be accurate and truthful in our journalism, right? Or let's not use Tor. Or, I don't know. How do they do it? There has to be a way if that's claims, right? This is not the first time Binance has been accused of maintaining ties with Chinese customers after the country imposed its nationwide ban. In March, Binance employees allegedly helped customers in mainland China bypass its Know Your Customer controls. In this incident, the China exchange did not refute the claims. Instead, it had taken action against employees who may have violated its internal policies, which it said wrongfully solicited or made recommendations that are not allowed in line with our standards. This is questionable, Let me know your thoughts on what the question is and what the answer is. I think the question might be, inaccurate reporting. I don't know. That's just a hunch. That's just a thought. But, China said it did ban Bitcoin. And guess what? There are pictures online of mining machines being put in China during this ban. So who knows? He said, she said, they said, them said, enough said. But Chinese city has implemented a plan for blockchain digital infrastructure system by 2025. That's probably more important than the smokescreen, right? The government of Shanghai has implemented a strategic plan, and the Chinese city of Shanghai, this plan is to promote the development of its urban blockchain digital infrastructure system in the time frame from 2023 to 2025. The announcement says the plan was formulated to serve the strategic goal of Shanghai's urban digital transformation, along with strengthening the application of blockchain in the economy, public service, and urban governance. It reads, breakthroughs in blockchain core technology and standard system constructions have been made, leading to the formation of an industrial ecology with strong innovation momentum and nurturing a group of leading and innovative companies with industry influence. When the urban blockchain digital infrastructure system is completed, it should support municipal affairs, public services, and applications in various industries in the region. It will also help with the coordination of blockchain network resources in the Yangtze River Delta region of Shanghai and create an international blockchain exchange hub. That's what China's doing. Okay. Let me know your thoughts. How successful are they going to be? India. Let's go to India. Okay, because no Asian coverage would be complete without going to India. India made suggestions for a G20 crypto roadmap. India, which currently holds the Group of 20 presidency, has supported the Financial Stability Board's recommendations for a global crypto framework published in July. The country also emphasized the necessity of dealing with risks of digital assets for developing economies. This week, yesterday, 2 days ago, the India released its presidency note for input in a roadmap on global framework for crypto. The document concurs with the guidelines written by the FSB, the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, and the International Money Fund, IMF. However, the note suggests some additions, including an emphasis on developing countries. While the IMF pays attention to developing economies specifics in its potential guidelines for crypto, India urges the FSB to implement them as well. It also calls for outreach to all jurisdictions to generate awareness of risks, starting from countries with higher crypto adoption and extending the future regulatory approach to the digital economy beyond the scope of the G20. This paper was called the synthesis paper, and it was due by the end of August, and they are publishing the guidelines for crypto and stable coins. It states, the FSB states, that crypto platforms must segregate clients' digital assets from their own funds and clearly separate functions to avoid conflicts of interest, with regulators ensuring tight cross-border cooperation and oversight. The guide also includes the obligation for stablecoin issuers to obtain a national license in any single jurisdiction before they can operate there. Good job, India. Nice to see India's going forward. It's no longer a hotbed against crypto. Let me know your thoughts. Do they have it right? Does Hong Kong have it right? Does India have it right? Does China have it right? I know the U.S. doesn't have it right, because we still have, people who are overstepping their regulatory authority, and that needs to be cleaned up. So, last place in Asia we'll go is Borneo. Borneo authorities have seized, and it wasn't in a boating accident, illegal crypto miners running off stolen power. Let's see. Authorities in the town of Miri on the island of Borneo shut down an illegal crypto mining operation and seized equipment following a tip-off from the public. According to the Borneo Post, Sarawak Energy discovered the operation, which included 34 cryptocurrency mining servers operating using stolen electricity through cable tapping. Authorities seized all the equipment used in the operation, including servers and tapping cables, while the local police are now investigating the latest mining operation to be taken down on the island. Okay. Sarawak Energy estimated the operation was utilizing 6,000 Malaysian ringgits a month, $1,300 worth of stolen electricity. It's not too much, but it's stolen. And any amount stolen is an amount stolen. I had $57 stolen from me this week. And what that did was, be careful out there. I'll tell you, be careful. This group did almost an exact copy of the Telegram official group of where one of my investments was claiming an airdrop. I should have known all the tokens were distributed, but it seemed to me was the official Telegram page, and it wasn't. So I did a beta test and I lost $57. And then I went back and said, oh, they scammed the Telegram group. So, you learn something in this space. You learn something new every day. Luckily, it was only $57. And I said this on Twitter. I have a lot of old coins from 2017 that are bunked, that are dead, that the projects died. Now I have a place, an address where I can send all my dead coins to, and have that person who stole take care of that. And that'll be more and higher cost to them than my $57. But who's holding a grudge? I'm not. I'm moving on to the Middle East. Let's go. Okay. Middle East. FTX files a motion to exclude its Dubai unit from bankruptcy proceedings. Bankrupt crypto exchange FTX has filed a motion in court to remove its Dubai unit from ongoing restructuring proceedings in the U.S. In a court filing on August 2nd, FTX argued that its Dubai unit didn't conduct any business before the bankruptcy filing. Thus, the subsidiary is unlikely to rehabilitate its operations. The court will start its first hearing later this month. In the filing, the crypto exchange noted the FTX Dubai is balance sheet solvent, and therefore a voluntary liquidation procedure in accordance with the laws of the UAE would allow a timely distribution of the positive cash balance after payment of all outstanding liabilities and liquidation of assets. All right, that's a little bit of a news. Let me know how you think that's going to go. And then we're going to Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv Stock Exchange will offer crypto services via a Fireblocks pact. Okay, Israel is set to announce more regulated cryptocurrency opportunities, with the country's only public stock exchange preparing to offer new crypto services. The Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, TASE, has signed an agreement with digital asset platform Fireblocks to jointly offer a range of new digital asset products and services. TASE noted this week that the new partnership will enable the stock exchange to provide institutional-grade digital asset solutions for regulated entities. The collaboration is designed to combine TASE's experience and presence in the Israel market with Fireblocks technology focused on moving, storing, and issuing digital assets. Let me know your thoughts on how that's going to go. And one last place in the Middle East before we go to Africa. Oman financial regulator seeks feedback on proposed virtual asset framework. The Sultanate of Oman is inching closer to launching its own virtual asset regulations, with its financial markets regulator seeking public comments on its proposed regulatory framework governing digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies, right? The Capital Market Authority of Oman is currently in the process of drafting a comprehensive regime for the virtual asset sector, which includes various business requirements and market abuse prevention. The consultation paper, which they've written and published, includes 26 questions with which industry stakeholders could provide their opinions. It includes proposal on regulatory and licensing requirements for VASPs, corporate governance, risk management, and virtual asset issuance. The framework encompasses utility tokens, security tokens, fiat-backed tokens, asset-backed stablecoins, and other digital asset securities that fall under the Financial Action Task Force's definition of virtual assets. However, the issuance of privacy coins might get banned. Okay. Is Oman taking a step in the right direction? And since last week, Kuwait said they're no longer they're banning crypto. Is Kuwait going to be left behind in this region where Dubai, Oman, UAE, Saudi Arabia, all these guys in the Middle East are moving forward? Who's going to be the winners and who's going to be the losers? Let me know your thoughts. And then let's go to Africa, because we've got some interesting things going on in Africa. The first of which is WorldCoin cryptocurrency project is suspended in Kenya. Let's see. The new cryptocurrency and digital asset project, where they're a company that with questionable investors is getting your data from your eyeballs, is facing a rough start in Kenya, with the government halting all local activity associated with it. Kenya's Minister of Internal Security said the country has suspended the activities of WorldCoin until relevant public agencies has certified the absence of risks to Kenyans. Relevant to security, financial services, and data protection agencies have commenced inquiries and investigations to establish the authority and legality of the aforesaid activities. The minister stressed the government of Kenya is specifically concerned with WorldCoin collecting crucial identification information like iris scans in exchange for a digital ID. The statement said, appropriate action will be taken on any natural or juristic person who furthers, aids, or abets, or otherwise engages or is connected with the activities aforedescribed. And we talked about what WorldCoin is and what it does, and Kenya is against it. They faulted it. And let me know your thoughts. Was that smart? And then we go to Nigeria. Nigeria's SEC has warned against trading on Binance. The Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission has warned local investors against using Binance. It refers to previous circular issued by a company illegally using Binance's brand. The SEC issued a warning against investing with Binance. The agency insists the platform doesn't have a license to work in the country and that its operation is illegal. It also reminds the public about the high level of risk and potential loss of investment. It says any member of the investing public dealing with the entity making such solicitation is doing so at his or her own risk. In June, the SEC published a circular limiting the activities of Binance Nigeria. The circular represented the same type of warning for investors and platforms as the one just published this week. The same Binance Nigeria was a fraudulent entity without any affiliation to Binance. In response, Binance issued a cease and desist order to Binance Nigeria. So very clearly, Binance is not Binance Nigeria. It's not a subsidiary. Binance Nigeria is not Binance. They are different entities. Binance Nigeria is an illegal entity. All right. Do not trade. If you're in Nigeria, do not trade on Binance Nigeria. Very cut and dry, very straightforward, very black and white. And, you have these entities out there who use a name play to further their own thing, and their own thing might not be in your best interest. So, that's that. And we're going to go to Australia. We're going to finish in Australia. I've been everywhere today, all over the world, except South America and Antarctica. But, hopefully I have some news about penguins next week. Yeah, let's talk about that next week. Let me get an Emperor Penguin article for you for fun. Australia's Bendigo Bank, Bendigo Bank blocks high-risk payments to crypto exchanges. Let's see. Australia's Bendigo Bank has become the fourth major bank in Australia to announce blocks for high-risk crypto payments, citing the need to protect customers from investment scams. The bank said it implemented new rules on instant payments to crypto exchanges that add some friction to certain genuine payments. It cited combating fraudulent payments and enhancing protections for its 2.3 million customers as a reason for the blocks. And it said, it has investment scams, a definition of investment scams, and they're saying investment scams will be masked as an offer to purchase cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, business ventures, superannuation schemes, managed funds, and the sale or purchase of shares of property. Scammers will create opportunities with professional brochures, websites, and advertisements to mask fraudulent activities and trick individuals into taking up the offer. How to protect yourself by putting money into an investment. Do some of your own research. You can check if the company has an Australian financial services license by visiting moneysmart.gov.au. Watch out for offers promoting the ability to have easy and early access to your superannuation. And don't be pressured into making an investment or decision about your money, especially if you're presented with an opportunity via unsolicited email or phone call. Always seek advice from a reputable financial advisor and raise concerns with your local branch. And that is that. And that was this week's X Factor with the Crypto Hipster. Join me every single Friday morning. And next week is episode 52, the 1-year anniversary of the show. Have an excellent week, and we will see you next week.